everybody, it's me, Auntie Myra. So for today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I do saliva / liquids and make them look sticky and shiny and messy. I've been told quite a few times that people really enjoy the way I do saliva or the way I do liquids. And I've done tutorials in the past, but I've never done a video tutorial, so maybe a video tutorial is more useful for people rather than having to follow a step-by-step image guide. For the tools that I'll be using in this, again, it will be Photoshop, but I'm pretty sure that, again, something like Clip Studio or Sai will have some of the things that I'm going to be doing. And the only thing that I guess you would need to know is how to use like some of your filters or some of the effects that you can apply to a layer, for example, as you can see on screen here. All of these little effects that you can put on top of an image. We're only going to be using one or two of them depending on which one you like the most, and it will be overlay or soft light from what I can remember. But let's just dive into it and get down to the basics. So usually what I do when it comes to drawing liquids, like the best time to do this is when you've completely finished your picture. You've done all your shading, you've done everything that needs to be done, and usually the final stage of my artwork will be the saliva before I start adding on filters and effects and chromatic effects and stuff like that. So let's just dive into it and show you guys what I mean. So to do saliva in the mouth, I'll make a new layer, as you can see here. Let's just call it wet for now. And with a solid brush, choose black and just start drawing in how the saliva will look and where the saliva will be. Now usually the entirety of the tongue, I usually fill that in black like that, so the tongue is completely black. And then I'll get an eraser. Again, it will be solid, and I'll add in some sort of soft wiggly lines to show that, like, you know, there's wetness there, and obviously wetness isn't usually straight lines. It's, you know, it can look fluid and have motion. Then I'll add some of these little circle shapes like this. Usually when something gets wet, I don't know what the correct word is, it kind of separates or it dispenses or whatever. Is dispense the right word? I don't know. But it definitely separates and you get these like little gaps of like no fluid. I like to add those into like large areas of wetness, like the entirety of the tongue. Once you've done that, think about, like, if you want it to be sticky and show that it's very messy, you want to add in a lot of strings of liquid. So usually, like, you know, long strings like this, and sometimes strings that attach to each other. And again on the other side. Now another thing that I usually add is on the tip, the very tip or the very bottom of something, add a bit of gravity to the liquid. So you're going to bring the liquid down and give it a drip. Now if you're doing saliva, saliva isn't like, you know, it's not water, it's thick and it's sticky. So make it a little bit stringy, make the drip a little bit bigger, and add some little drops as if they're falling down. If the liquid is possibly on the surface or it's falling down, follow the shape of the body. So if the character has, like, you know, a rounded chest, you're gonna follow the liquids of that chest and bring it down like that. Again with the mouth, if it's coming out of the mouth, follow the shape of the face. Like, don't just go down in lines like this. Follow the shape, because obviously for like a character like a Sonic character, they've got rounded muzzles. And bring a drip down. Again, imagine if there was something dripping down her face. Follow the shape of her face. Add a little bit more gravity to the saliva as if it's following her cheek, and then make a drip and bring it down. Cool. Once you've done that, in your layer options, I don't know where you would be able to find these, in somewhere like Clip Studio or Sai, but in Photoshop they're right here above the layers. If you go through these, you'll start to see some effects come into place. The one that I like to use is Soft Light. Now you can use Overlay, but it's usually a lot darker. Soft Light is more the one for you. So select Soft Light, and now you can see that rather than black, it's kind of gone transparent. Now, I highly recommend that never use the transparency. I don't think grey looks right. I don't think grey liquids like that look very good. If this is your only option, then by all means use it, but it's much better to use an overlay than it is, sorry, a soft light than it is to just lower the transparency. So if I zoom out now and check out the work, you can see that there's like a liquid effect going on. But the most important part about this is making it shiny and making that wet effect. So you're going to make a new layer, and we'll call this light. Turn it to white. You're going to give yourself a nice white brush. And then your pixel's going to be like, say, half the size of what you were using. So let's say 6 for now. Now you're going to follow the edge of the liquid along the tongue. Like that. Now let go a little bit. You're not just going to make one solid line, okay? I don't think one solid line is good. I like to release a little bit and put a bit of pressure down, release. Then make it dark again. Then release. Dark again. Then release. Just keep adding and removing a little bit of pressure as you follow the line. On the circles where you've got like the separated liquids, just follow around the edge of that. Same on the other side. Now in the middle of, like, say the biggest area of saliva, just add some little reflective dots. And it makes it look really wet. And carry on following this line, on and off with pressure. Add a little bit more reflection to the sides. See the way I'm adding little dots, and it's making it look really, really wet. Cool. Whenever you do a drip or a rounded area, and when I say rounded, like droplets around, the end of a drip is round, add a little reflection circle inside that area. Like that. So with droplets, go around the edge, add a little reflective circle. Around the edge, add a little reflective circle. When it comes to long stringy saliva, like the strings inside the mouth, just follow the edge. Release the pressure a little bit. There we go. For the side of the face, this one, again, follow the edge. A little bit of pressure, and then release. A little bit of pressure, and release. Follow the blob shape, and then put a reflection in there. Follow the edge. Reflection. Nice reflection, follow the edge. So let's have a little zoom out and see what we've got. There we go. And if you think it's a little bit too shiny, you can just mess with the transparency and bring it down a little bit. Same with the shadow underneath. You can just bring that down and bring that down. Cool. Another little thing that I like to do as well is, like, when people have a lot of saliva in the mouth, it kind of bubbles up a little bit. There's a good way and a really simple way of doing that is just honestly making little circles. And zoom out a little bit. There we go. Let's go back onto the shadow layer. Select the black brush. And say, for example, like there's like foamy saliva bubbles on the side of the mouth. Just draw some little circles in. Same on the other side. And then on the next layer, which is our highlight layer, just go around those. Put a reflection in, reflection, wrong layer, there we go. Reflection, reflection, reflection. These sort of like salivary bubbles are usually when there's like a lot of mess going on. I don't always use them, but they're an option if you want to make it extra messy and extra sticky, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. I'll just do it again on, say for example, on her feet or her shoes. Say for example, she's just walked in a load of sticky, messy saliva. Let's fill the area where we want the wetness to be. Remember to add gravity, so make sure that the fluids do eventually come down, so they're going to be flowing down a little bit. So add pressure, release the pressure on your brush, and then add a little bit more at the end. So you've got like a blob at the bottom. Sometimes connecting that liquid, like making another line, but then connecting it to the same little path. Like that, blob at the end. Now, to make the fluid, say, connect to another area, just add some pressure, follow it, release the pressure, and add pressure again. And you can add lines and make them stick together against saliva, like, you know, it's sticky, you know, there's multiple lines of it. It's all about how messy you want it to look. Sometimes adding a little bubble at the end shows that there's like, you know, saliva collecting here and it's ready to drip off, if that makes sense. And then on your next layer, which is the light layer, start adding those like reflective lines and following the edge of the liquid as we talked about before. So follow the edge, pressure, then release. Pressure, then release. Add some nice bold lines in there to show that it's shiny. Pressure, then release, just following the edge of the drip. Then circle around the blob and a little reflection in the middle. The best thing about this is you can just experiment and you can make it look right for you. There's different ways, there's so many different ways of doing wetness and saliva. I've seen so many different variations and different transparencies to make it look really sticky. Different colors. I've seen people, rather than using white, they usually use whatever lighting is in the room. So if I color overlay this, like if the room is green, the reflection would be green. If the room is pink, the reflection would be pink, and so on. So you can always just experiment, as you should do with any piece of artwork that you're working on. Let's change that back to white. Add pressure, release. So these kind of like saliva lines are good if you want to draw intimacy. If you want to draw characters kissing and, you know, the spit between their mouths is a little bit wet. Yeah, that's usually a good place to do it. Additionally, you know, like characters, I don't know, caught in some sort of goo monster. Characters that are, I don't know, coughing up a hairball or something really messy like that. You know, there's different reasons why you can do this sort of, this coloring style. There we have it. If we zoom out, as you can see, like, you know, really sticky lines that are connecting to each other. Again, mess with the transparency. If it's a little bit too shiny, lower it down. If it's a little bit too dark on the shadow, lower that down too. And just play around with it until it makes you feel comfortable, until you've got your own preference. But there we have it. A tutorial on how I do my liquidy, wet, sticky effects. If you've liked the video and it's useful to you, do leave a comment below, or, you know, if you have your own techniques on doing it, then please feel free to say so. But yeah, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you very much.